Okay, so here we are again. All right, so anyway, so last night we got we made some headway in all of this, and I'm actually quite happy with the progress that was made. So much so that I would like to now take a critical view at the work, and I would like to listen back to the instrumental without the words. So that's what we're going to do now, and let's go ahead and get loaded up here. Alright, so just going to mute the main vocal here. Let's get moving. Let's get listening. can pick out about probably 3 or 4 things that probably need a little bit of work. Honestly, it's not that big a deal. A few snips and snugs would actually fix said issues. And it has just everything really to do with drums. There's a few hit points that didn't quite sort of line up. But everything, it sounds really fine. The only thing I will remark on is I'm feeling like the piano, it's not muffled per se, but it kind of feels lazy. Just a little bit. But maybe, I mean, honestly, it needs to be to make way for everything else. So I'm thinking it's probably fine. It certainly passes the listen test. So what I would actually like to do before I get too far ahead of myself doing vocals is I would like to come in and let's do a let's get these stems bounced, shall we? But before we do that, let's have just a quick listen again to the drums. Drums and bass. Could the bass be slightly too loud, I wonder? Let's just tweak the bass here. Coming down from minus 6 dB. We're going to pull it down to minus 13 here. I'm going to bump it back up to 10. Because I thought the bass was just a tad overpowering in the headphones. I think it sits comfortable at 10, honestly. You know what we'll do? We'll bump it to minus 9 dB. I don't know. No, you know what? Let's keep it back at 10 because we've got to remember, once this thing is going to be ran through the master, it's going to be working with a lot of that, and it's going to be probably punching that bass right through. So let's keep it at minus 10. It's actually riding quite nice, and I'm not getting this overpowering thing. It's kind of de-muddying the piano as well, so that's good. And I'm just going to slide the piano just over a little bit more in the headphones here. Maybe to about 7. The Hammond organ is at plus 13. And the phones. I think that's fine, honestly. I want to try something though. Let's hard pan. For some reason it won't let me. We're skipping back here a little bit because that Hammond got a little bit too loud for comfort there. Just ever so slightly. So we want to ride that. Let's find a little cut point here. And I'm not sure where the gain went. Where's the gain? We should have the gain function in the region. And I'm not seeing it. We might have to flatten the track. In which case, bounce and join. We just want to flatten it. Should be a way to flatten the track. And I don't know why it's not letting me flatten the damn track. Okay. Could be something I haven't done yet, so maybe it's not ready to be flattened. Oh no, here we go, flatten. And now we should be able to select the gain. Why is it giving me the wheel of death on the screen? Nope, don't move the damn thing. Don't move it. Ah, that's annoying. Okay. Oh, so you can't undo. What the hell happened? Are you kidding me? Why can't you undo? What the fuck? Oh man, come on. Are you serious? What the hell is this? Hi, Harrison. So why can't I undo? Let's have a look. Undo length change. Undo drag. Undo drag. So what the fuck happened? What actually happened here? I must have had a problem. It must have had a hitch. So, all right. So now we can actually select the gain. But let's listen back. Yeah, it's just a little bit too strident with the volume. So let's crank it down. I'm going to say, just eyeballing what the waveform is doing, let's go about minus 2 dB. Ah, that sounds about right. That's okay. Now, if there was a way to actually bypass the panning information, that would be great. But you know what? I think I just like the organ being panned the way it is. I like the piano panned the way it is too. So we're going to go ahead and start bouncing these stems. I don't think anything else needs to be corrected per se. So let's just come along through here and start at the very beginning there. And we're going to bounce these stems and get that done. So the first one, let's say we'll use the drums. We'll go with the drums. And we'll bounce those. And before we do that though, just make damn sure there's nothing clipping, because I did for some reason there was something clipping there. And are we happy with the snare being that low? Let's crank the snare a little bit, so it's minus 3 dB. That's a little bit more healthy. Now let's listen to the mix. How hot do we want the snare? Let's bring it up to 2. I'm thinking minus 2. Minus 2 is probably safe. I think that's fine. Okay. So, honestly, we really just want these drums in one big shebang, one stereo track, and so we're going to solo the drums, have one quick listen back. Sure nothing's crazy. Now, I notice we have the reverb on the snare. Do we want that? Maybe just do it without first. Let's listen to it in context. Yeah, let's leave that reverb off, I'm thinking. And let's have a listen to the kick. So our snare is inverted. Let's try the, see what the toms are doing. Yeah, that certainly needs to be inverted. Now this is kind of interesting because it's making that snare pop when I hit the phase invert on tom 3. pushing it off to the side. I like that. So how do we... All right, let's listen back in context. Okay, that actually sounds a lot healthier. Just a very subtle messing with the levels there and the phase inversion. So, all right, I think the drums are ready. Let's just hit solo and. Yeah, we're certainly getting a lot more punch this way. All right, I like it. So here we go. Going to bounce project or selection. We do not want to normalize. We want to go for WAV. And this track is 6 minutes long. Okay, that's pretty cool. 24-bit, 48 kilohertz. All right, no dithering. We go OK. And this is drums only, dry. Okay, all right, here we go. Bounce. And truthfully, like, I don't really see at this juncture a reason to try and bounce every single individual drum. Things in this context are really, they're kind of summed together the way that they're mic'd a bit. There's not a terrible lot of miking going on. So I'm just going to do that as one single stereo file, and I'm pretty happy with that. You've got to remember, keeping this as simple as possible is going to yield far better results than trying to reinvent the wheel a million times over. Let's get it bounced and move on to the bass then. I'm happy to be at this stage, I really am. Okay, so now I want to create a save point. I'm going to hit save. And now let's come up to the bass. And let's go mute the drums. Have a quick listen back to the bass. Yep, sounds fine to me. Let's move along and go bounce. Project selection. And bass. And I'm fairly happy to be at this stage. Well, I wasn't expecting it. This song kind of came out of nowhere. Some of the best music does, I think. Fucking tired, I'll tell you what. You know what? I'm pretty silly. There is something I forgot to do. I forgot. Actually, no. No, I'm not worried about that. The only thing that's on the master channel is, like I said, it's only the tilt EQ, so that's pretty healthy anyway. I'm not going to worry about that. Honestly, the tracks should be just that naturally anyhow. So if we're going to mix in a different environment, they need to be ready with the tilt. So that's okay. Alrighty. Alright, so we're on to the piano now. It's ready to go, so gotcha, you little bastard. Fucking mosquitoes think they can come in here, wreaking havoc. I've got news for them. There you go, piano. And some people might disagree with the tilt that I use. And I think in a modern environment, sure, like things now can handle a lot more bass, whatever system people listen on. But for the, I'll say for the actual, for the effect that we're going for, this to sound early rock, we want to cut that low, and we want to cut the extreme end of the high. We can beef it up a little bit in the mastering. Okay, so that's ready. Now let's move on to the Hammond. And I have to say, I'm actually quite happy to not have to worry about 10 million different tracks, to be quite honest. It's nice just having, let's just flatten that one. It's nice having only 4 things to have to deal with. it's ready. And I have to say, I keep saying it, but I'm happy to work like this now. You know, I'm not stressing trying to get everything damn perfect. Or just getting, no, I didn't want to just, oh, fucking hell, what's going on here? Didn't get my loop point created. What the hell happened? Or did I? I might have. That should be fine. I'm happy to work this way where things are just done enough. You know, certainly things aren't quantized. They're not flex timed the shit out of. Just good, honest multi-tracking. You know, using the DAW as a tape machine, like I keep saying. You know, it's a lot more rewarding that way for me, at least, anyway. There's only maybe a few snips and cuts here and there, and that's kind of it. But all right, so now that we have these exported, let's put all these in a folder. It's a new folder, and we're going to call this multi-tracks. Bass, drums, and Hammond. That's pretty good. Road's kind of busy tonight. Might go out and take a peek at what's going on. Okay. Oh, I'm so tired today. Did quite a lot of work. Got some wood done, wood cut, and wasn't too bad. All right, so there's our multi-tracks. We can take them, we can put them anywhere, but I still want to track inside here. So let's unmute the drums, unmute the bass, unmute the piano, and one thing I do like to do is I like to take things and bounce them in place to where they're kind of just all one size and not like a whole bunch of different so bounce and join. Let's see what that does. Actually, we'll try this. And we want the selected track. We want to delete the source. Yes. Bypass the effect plugins. Yes. Include audio tail in file. And then include volume pen automation. Overload protection only. I would say off. Alright, that should get it. So we're bouncing the Hammond in place. Make that all one nice new file. I'm going to build a waveform for us again. Where is the Hammond? What the hell happened? What just happened there? Bounce and join. We want to leave the source file, not delete it then. Okay, so try this again. There we go. Ah, that's it. Okay. All right. So, but why is it not? Why is it not joined? All right. Well, let's try this then. It's not willing to. Do that. So bounce and join. We're going to go mute the source tracks, or just delete them. So, all right, try this again. Because before it didn't build the waveforms. Again, I don't know why. Nope, it just. Oh no. Now, that's a problem. Because if it doesn't want to, maybe we just join them. So So non-contiguous audio regions require the creation of a new audio file. So we've created. All right. I think that's what we need to do. Just join. There we go. Alright, same thing here. Let's flatten this piano track, and then we're going to go join. Same thing with the bass. Flatten all these. Join. All right. I have no idea why that tom was cut. So what's going on here? Oh, that's fine. We had to do a just going to join this one. Okay. That works pretty good. All right. Kind of a slow night tonight. It's good. Now I'm noticing one thing here. Are we clipping there on that tom? Let's have a quick listen. Nearly, but I'm not going to worry about it. And it's pretty much ready, truthfully. The success, or what I deem as success with these tracks, is the fact that we're only working instrument-wise 4 to 5 tracks at once. 4 to 5 tracks. I mean, for the instruments. We're not layering 10 billion different things. We have maybe 4 to 5 things happening, 6 at the most, and getting really super into it, maybe 8. So at this stage, we can probably start to think about: do we want to? Can we fit a synth over this? Do we want to? Does it need it? Do we just need to keep this thing pure? And the other part about it is thinking nostalgia-wise. Even America, the band America, the acoustic band America, if you listen to some of their tracks, they will throw in somewhere in there's like a synthesizer doing something. But I think mostly that they use those things to kind of accent very carefully here and there, just to help the sound along, to give it something a little different. But that's what made those tracks great. It's just, you're hearing just a very simple synth line. What I'm thinking is, I'd be interested to make, to maybe just put the slap and Overheim on there, just to see what would happen. Not for the sake of putting an Overheim on there, but for the sake of seeing how it could enhance certain parts. So let's quickly do that. See if it's worth doing. Might not be worth doing. You might hate it. What I think is, let's tracks. We got a comedian in here. Stax M8W. Good one. And I'll tell you something. I said the same thing when your mom opened the door. She's gonna be trash. But I went ahead and did it any fucking way. Oh, buddy. You came into the wrong room tonight. You're gonna get your ass handed to you, left, right, and center. These dumb motherfuckers coming in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Yeah, I said that too. I said that too when I was banging Stax's mom. And it was like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, go! Bam! See, you don't want to come in here fucking with me. You think you're a fucking troll, but you have no idea who you're messing with. Because these dumb fucking kids, you have no life experience, you have nothing, you shit. Alright, let's find our Mellotron here. You don't really wanna fuck with me. Da 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 da. What's that song? I can't hear my synthesizer. I'm not messing with a doll. I'm messing with your mom. Right? Get it. Alright, so let's get the Mellotron to work. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. You got a Tascam DP32? Holy shit. Well, aren't you special? You know what I got? I got a doll. And that's just as good. But do you know what Stax has got? Stax has a vagina. Alright, so why is this not working? Bo-da-bo-bo. Yeah, it is. You know why? Because we're all waiting to hear what Stax has to say. But he's ran home with his tail between his legs. Because he's a pussy. He's a disgrace. His mother's ashamed of him. I know. Alright, let's start this over here. Yeah, it's starting to give up on itself. Hey, here's a little bit of trivia. Right? I wrote this song about Stax's mom, right? Just so everybody knows. Oh, how terrible. I'm really an asshole, I swear. I have to get in the habit of deleting these trolls, because if I don't, I just indulge in tearing people a new asshole on this thing. And it's just, you know, what can I say? Now, we got to figure out why the Mellotron isn't working. So let's figure this out. You hear things. Do you need a psychologist? Do you need psychiatric help? What's going on here? Why is the Mellotron not fucking working? Is it routed correctly? Let's find out. So obviously, all right, let's turn on this thing. Have I tried? No, but I think I got it fixed. No, it's not the wrong MIDI channel. It's because I fucking bumped it when I was banging Stax's mom, right? Right? I fucking bumped it and I fucked it up. See, Stax is no longer with us because he got offended. He got offended! Alright, so we got the Mellotron working. So what do we want to do? We want to do something with this track. You're no. You are not just like me. I am the king nerd and the king geek. Right? Everybody else, you're all under me, right? I'm the king geek because I have 10 million fucking keyboards. And I'm the nerdiest motherfucker in the whole world. Right? Let's get one thing straight. Okay. So we want to put some Mellotron somewhere on this track that we wrote about Stax' mom. So let's play it. All right. Let's slap some Mellotron on there like we slapped her fucking ass. No respect. We know your son's a dumbass. Why did you name him Stax? All right, so we got to practice restraint here. You got 20 guitars and a Simmons you got a Simmons drum kit? Are you kidding me? I have no idea what a Simmons drum kit is. Stax does, because he sold himself for one. I need to stop picking on Stax. He's already having a hard time. Alright, let's do this again. From the top, just like I told Stax's mom. From the top. It might help if I just stuck with the chord structure, right? Right? Am I right? Ah, that would help. How much compassion do I have for my drums? Absolutely fucking none. Zilch. Zip. Nada. Not. Finito. Nothing. I have no compression on the drums because I don't like compressed drums. There's a reason. Everybody loves to compress the shit out of just about everything. Compression is great. I love compression. Let's put a fucking mix bus compression on this. Let's just you know what? Well, fuck compression. Everything. Compress the shit out of the vocals. Compress the shit out of it. No. Fuck that. Leave compression alone. Let your mix stand on its own merit. Let it breathe. Let it be dynamic, right? For all intents and purposes, let your mix alone. Then, when you finally get everything right in the mix, you're mixing low, right? Low volume. Then you take everything out into the mastering situation, and then you can apply a little bit of compression, right? Very tiny amount of compression, just to maybe pop some things here and there. That's how you do it. You do not ever compress anything that doesn't need it. If you have a problem, my philosophy is if you have a problem in the studio, like say for instance, if your kick is not behaving the way that you want it to behave, like Stax. Stax's mom had to use compression with him, right? When that motherfucker was born, she had to go in one of those spinny chairs, right? That fucking spun around and flung the baby out of the womb, right? That they built way back in the fucking day. That's how Stax was born. And see, it compressed his head, and finally he shot out of the womb, right? He smacked against a motherfucking tree. But that's not my problem. You never use compression unless you have a problem that you cannot fix. Can I hit the cymbal? No. Not yet. Because it'll upset Stax here. Okay? Alright, so we're not going to hit the cymbal. But we're going to talk a little bit about compression and where compression is actually due to be used. I like to use for the drums on the mix bus something called a multipressor, right? And it's not compression in a very traditional sense. You're not going to hear it. But what it'll do is dynamically it'll say, okay, all right, before we get to the mastering stage, before we have a dynamic compressor on all these different wavelengths, bands of compression, these separate bands of compression dealing with your low frequency, your low mid, your mid, and your high. We have this multipressor doing that job a little bit, and it's not down compressing, right? Unless you make it down compress. No, I'm not on Spotify. I hate Spotify. I hate Bandcamp. I sell my music by myself. And Stax, he runs around with a little box, and he's got like a little monkey hat on, right? And he runs around with an organ grinder selling my CDs, right? So he's coming on here tonight. He's a bit shitty, so, but we've dealt with him. So that's how I sell my music. But multipressor, you have the kick in a situation where you're up compressing, right? You want your kick to maybe just pop just a little bit, right? So that it's like that. You're getting this up compression on your low band, then your low mids are different. I want that in a very small way to down compress, right? So I want to down compress the low mids. Same thing a little bit with the high mids. I want them to kind of fluctuate just a little bit, and I don't mess with the highs. I'll leave that off. Oh, he wears a lot more than that. He wears, yeah, he wears makeup and everything else. And I told him to wipe it off. Anyway, he scares people a lot. I don't sell a lot of CDs because of that. Anyway, we're going to stop picking on Stax here. But with compression, that's all we ever worry about. Now, compression, what you're thinking about is, let's get the drums to just fucking slam, let's just fucking have this crazy, ultra compressed, ultra fucking, what is it, we want the drums to sound hairy, No, not this type of music. If you're doing rock, if you're doing like heavy metal and that sort of thing, yeah, maybe you can start working with some even and odd frequencies, and you can double up on those. You can put an exciter on that. Limiters, no. The only situation I use limiter in is in ozone, and that is if I'm having problems getting my mix to full volume that I actually want. But in most cases, the mix that I do inside of Logic is good enough for me, and I slap it into Ozone like I slap Stax's mom, and it just works, you know. The limiter, having that as an afterthought of where your threshold, it's just coming there just enough, and you may be just wanting to push it just a little bit more, staying well under at least minus 2 dB for the output for the entire thing. Then you got to be happy with it, you know. Remembering that most of the music that was released, I play everything, including Stax's mom. And I got to stop picking on Stax here. But yeah, I play everything. I do everything. Everything that you see in the studio, I play. But yeah, that's my take on compression. Leave the mix alone. Get it to sound as good as possible at the source. Bring everything back to the source. If your kick isn't behaving like it should, mess around with the way that you mic it. Get the kick to sound good in a physical realm before you go trying to fix it with plugins, right? I've told Stax this 10 million times. He doesn't get it. Okay? If you go to his channel, you'll see he's completely hopeless. But he tunes in here every now and again because he wants to get these tidbits on how to actually get his sound to work properly. But he has this way of mouthing off. He gets himself in a lot of trouble. Okay, so anyway, let's try and keep going on this Mellotron track and see what we can do.
That's the practice. Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to stick with the chords. Thinking about Stax's mom. And I don't like the solo thing happening with the Mellotron. Let's just maybe just tack some chords. Where am I? Where are you? Do you not see me? I'm right fucking here.
That's the practice.
All right.
Let's do it.
Some people don't like my smartass approach. I tend to like that. All right. Thinking about Stax's mom. No. So we have the Mellotron panned all the way to where the Hammond is. So we want to undo the recording. Let me try this again. Must be panned in here. What's going on? So the panning. Ah, there we go. So we want that kind of somewhere in the middle.
Alright, so that's the practice. Let's get it a little bit longer this time. And then we back everything off, right? Because we're in the we're trying to get the lyrics happening, okay? As you do. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to fade this out just here. It's like we're phasing out stupidity, like stacks. It's like they faded out asbestos back in the day, because asbestos was pretty dangerous and useless and caused people a lot of problems. Okay. Now let's see. Let's listen back. Okay. Now, I like it, but it's kind of blanketing everything else. So, there's one thing we can do. We can put an imaging filter on here. So we can go on the stereo spread, and we can narrow the stereo field. And we can just have it sitting right in the middle. So let's get a preset on here. So, maybe spread's not the best one. Let's try the binaural post. Or actually, no, I'll tell you what, there's a way to do this. We go into utility, and we should have a way to just pop that into mono quickly. So here we go, mono button. All right, so this is mono. hear some bells, right? I'm thinking like this is, you know, 1975, 1974, 1975, smooth like R&B start to the whole thing. We're hearing bells like the bing, 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 right? So where do we find some bells that are going to do this? Maybe there's something inside Logic. Even like a harp, I hear a harp going, right? That's the sound that Stax makes. He goes, whenever he wants something. Do you want a treat, Stax? I gotta watch myself. Here's a treat for you. Go fetch. Fuckface. All right. I want these bells and I want them now. So let's find new software instrument track, possibly. But then again, we don't have a MIDI controller hooked up to this. So what we got to do then is we got to turn on the piano. Got to turn on the piano back here. We got to find a bell inside of it. I'm sure I got some bells in there. Okay. New track with duplicate settings. Alright, so it's sounding good. So let's find a bell on the piano. Synth lead, synth brass. I play something on the drums? Your little sister is autistic and is fascinated with drums. Thank you so much, sir. Well, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm not a monkey. I don't do what people want me to do. I do whatever the fuck I want to do. I'm so sorry, but you'll have to go somewhere else. All right, let's get these bells on here. Working. We need to make this work. I'm even thinking it's maybe not bells, maybe it's like a vibraphone. I don't know. Maybe we need to morph that into the vibraphone. Let's try that. Some bells that kind of accent things a little bit. In certain circumstances. I think that'll do, though. Honestly, honestly, if anyone wants to know why I'm in such a foul mood, my brother passed away 21st of December last year, and I'm not a nice person to deal with. doing my own thing, and not here to entertain anybody but myself.
Can't hear a damn thing. I was saying all that stupid shit and I wasn't even being recorded. Oh, terrific. Okay, whatever.
We need to tie in with this at the very end. So we did the Mellotron in the beginning. Maybe we need to bring it back in at the end.
No slap bass at all. No way. No slap bass. The only slap bass that happens was when I slap Stax's mom in the face. In a drain. Right? Which never happened. Yeah, but she's been all around the world, you know. It's like a world-owned bike. All right, you know what? I like the beginning of that so much, what I did, so I'm going to keep that. We're going to splice it. We're going to try again on the other side. Here we go. We're doing the splicing. First we got to flatten the track. And we're going to drop in here. If we can get it right. No hot mesa boogie. No hot mesa boogie guitar later. No, you don't understand. No hot mesa boogie. Throw everything out. You put the guitar. You put guitar. You put hot mesa boogie guitar on this. You have to throw everything out. Start again. So no. No, 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 no. Ah, fuck. You put maracas. Yes. I'm lost. What the hell's going on? What am I doing wrong? Damn it. Okay, so it's back to D then. It's back to D. So we have to then go undo. That's why I'm not. We put the maracas. We put cabasa and shaker. Yes. See. You like it? Such difficulty here. I've changed a chord somewhere and I can't remember what it. You put saxophone. No saxophone. Maracas only. Screwing it up. My room is all black. It's infinite. Yes, yes, yes. It's an infinite room with infinite possibilities. And infinite maracas. Now hang on. So what is this chord that's fouling me up? Let's listen back. Okay, it's like a sustain sus4. Also, the congas should be red, but you know what? By God, they're green. Wouldn't you know it? They're fucking green. So we can't use them. We have to throw them all out. Throw all the green markers out. Get them out of here. We need red markers. Why is this happening to me? I'm the one who wrote the fucking thing. I should know what's happening. Hang on. Let's try again. That's what's going on. I have to come back here instead of... So, in effect. Okay, I think I can handle that. Alrighty. You should do the artwork for the cover of what? Nope, I do everything myself. I do the drums, I do the keyboards, I do the piano, I do the singing, I do the crying alone in the bathroom when I can't get things right, and I do the artwork. Sorry. Yeah, I appreciate it though. More than welcome to come up with a concept if you wanna draw what it looks like. I'll have a look at it, but I don't lend out my work to people. It's highly personal. It's like I have to be in complete control of it. Flatten that. I'm going to take the fade tool and then we're going to fade it out. We finally got it working. We finally got it to work. All right. All right. Are they Vic Firth? No, these are my own brand. These are my own brand of sticks. I make them, just like I do everything. And they're called oh, fuck, you can't even see what they're called. They're called Thrift Kiv, right? They're like Vic Thrift, but yeah, Vic Firth, but they're not. They're Thrift Kiv. Yeah, because I live in reverse land. Everything here is reverse. Okay. So now that we brought the Mellotron back, maybe we should bring the bells back. you know? Maybe. Let's try it. Maybe momentarily bring them back. Maybe not fully. Because see, they're a very special brand. They're a very special brand, and yeah, they're my own. They're my own creation, and I'm the only one in the world that has them. Okay, so what's happening is the mellotron here. It's overshadowing the piano, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go take our pointer tool and we're going to scroll over the mellotron. We're going to say, okay, what we'd like to do is we'd like to flatten the mellotrons. We're going to join everything, and then we're going to take our gain switch, and we're going to gain it all the way down to maybe 4.4, minus 4 dB, and loosen back. Drop in with the bells. Got to think about this. Got to be so careful. These frequencies start overlapping and mixing, mastering themselves. You know what? I like that. I like that. It's not perfect. The little bells, they do something. And you know, it's crazy because sometimes we can hear a mix, and the most thing that stands out to us is it's not the Hammond organ, it's not the mellotron, it's not even the bass or the drums. It's that bell, or it's that something. Maybe it's a guitar riff, and that's the special sauce, right? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eric65. I appreciate that. So let's take a moment and reference the beginning of the track and see what we lack. Here's where the saxophone comes in, right? Or maybe a trumpet. And so then we're going to tie it back in with N, which is the bells are too loud. Let's bring it down. Maybe down -2 dB. It could. I don't know whether that's a compliment or that's having a dig at me, but I think it could be something for something. The menu music for a video game. I think, yeah, you know, it could actually. It could be like waiting room. It could even be elevator music. Some of those nice sort of. You're waiting to go up in the elevator to go and redeem a coupon for something. Just won a prize. Let's show them what they've won. Pull back the curtain. Oh, look what it is. You won a brand new washing machine. That's what it sounds like to me. Damn it! Now I can't separate that image, that thought from the music. I'll just call it washing machine from now on. Okay, so here's the end again. It's kind of like that. It is kind of like that. You'll hear it the first time and you're like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this shit? Right? And then you hear it again. Then you hear the third time. Hey! Yeah, it's like that. It's like that sometimes with some music. It's an acquired taste, especially nowadays when everybody's subjected to the crap that's on the radio, you know. God awful stuff, and then they hear something like this, and it's like, ooh, and then it's okay. All right. Oh, hey, you know what? This actually sounds good. I'm not being bombarded with things like overly compressed um, crap. You know, being slammed to a brick wall limiter, and I'm actually getting to my ears are getting a break, and you can hear some dynamic stuff happening. That's kind of how it is. Yeah. Thank you. Um, and that's what I'm aiming to do. I really want to make this as 70s as humanly possible. Even kind of mid 70s, even to late 70s. We could even go into the early 80s, very early 80s, when some of these bands were they were still trying to put out stuff that they recorded back in '75, and they only then got released later on to realize, oh well, shit, the opportunity is gone. Now we've released this record, and it's now 1980. Nobody's no longer doing this now. So now we just released this record that's kind of subpar in terms of what people think of it now, because they're all used to disco now. So, yeah, very much. The Floaters. I don't know if you heard of the Floaters. It's kind of a stupid name for a band. They weren't really a band, but they were a group, R&B group, and they have this song called "Float On." It's not Modest Mouse Float On. This is a different Float On. And I want to play that song. I'm going to play the song. One of these days I'll play it. I don't even think I have it loaded here to actually play it, but fantastic song. The Floaters, Float On. It has this like 10-minute intro, right? And then they start singing, float, float on. Right, that's cool. 70s. All right, so what else can we do to this track? So we're going to start it from here. Listen again. I'm going to start doing this. The shit's going down. Coming in with a strong piano, masculine piano, and bass and kick drum, and yeah. We might even think about a guitar at some stage. But we like it kind of raw here, so let's roll along with it. Here comes the Hammond organ again in the ear, in the right ear or the left ear, depending on what your headphones do. Thinking vocal harmonies here, which we want to keep sort of narrow in the stereo field. I hear a trumpet, a muted trumpet, but I have no such talent with a trumpet, so it's not going to happen. for a saxophone. You know, I hear it. There goes the piano, sounding off. And obligatory guitar solo, you know. I don't know if I'll start it here or start it here. 3, 2, 1. We gotta watch out for the bells though. We don't want to run over bells. Show you a guitar. I can't just show you a guitar. It can't just come out of nowhere. I'd have to go and get a guitar. I've got a bass guitar here. That's about all I've got at the moment. I do have a guitar. I've got a Strat in there. But the problem with it is only one of the pickups work, unfortunately. So I have to get a loaded pick guard to put in it to use the guitar. But I'm looking to do that at some stage, at some fortnight when I can afford to do that. I need to get a, there's a company called Obsidian Guitars in Australia. And they make these loaded pick guards that just are amazing. You can get like a David Gilmour loaded pick guard, which I'm thinking about getting. And it gives you his sound from the Animals tour. It's about $600 though. Yeah, this is an original Fender P bass. It's a micro P bass from 1968. Very rare. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a Fender. It's a this is actually a Kent brand micro bass. So it's the same scale as a guitar, but it's a bass. And I like that because when you're working in a small space like this, you don't want to run into shit with your long ass bass neck. You know, it's a problem. It can be a big problem. And so this little bass here it's a godsend, and it's got these really nice. I think they're Maxon pickups in here, single coil. They're a little bit microphonic, unfortunately. But then, I don't know, sometimes I prefer these pickups that are a bit microphonic. They seem to pick up a little bit more of what's happening with the fingers and stuff, a little bit of noise here and there. Yeah, it's a nice little jazz bass. I've used it for everything in between as well, you know. Yeah, it's a great little bass. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But this is actually from '68. So it's very, it's a Japanese company that made them. and they're unbranded, but the brand is Kent. This was made in the Osaka, I think it was the Osaka factory, Osaka Fart Factory. No, seriously though, it's either it's some Japanese factory that had it. It made them, so it's a very decent instrument. It's not a toy, and I think the person who had it didn't really realize how much it was worth, and it's quite a nice bass. Very special instrument. It looks the part too, you know. This nice sort of red dark sunburst, and it's a sunburst that's done well. Some sunbursts are done so crappily, you know, you get no fade out with the sunburst. Sometimes it's a sunburst and you just get this line, or it's like almost like a literal line of sun, and then it just goes into darkness. This has this nice kind of like exploded fade out, and you get to see the grain of the wood. It's really beautiful. Love this bass. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to the damn bass for just a minute. It's a beautiful bass. If I could play it, of course. Yeah, it's a good bass. I like it a lot. But I'm kind of a, money, Pink Floyd Money. I'm kind of a thumb bass person. I don't really like to use my fingers on the bass because it just kind of gives this. I kind of like just to pluck with my thumb. It's just a bit more accurate. I can slap a little, but this bass is very unforgiving. You try to slap on this bass, the pickups are gonna go crazy. It's not really designed for that. It's got this little plate on here, kind of like prevents you from slapping. So, one of those things. Too many puppies with guns in their hands. Too many puppies. Yeah, bit of Primus. Oh yeah. Anyway, back to the music. What's happening here? Now I think the bass is too low. I don't know why. But it's not sounding that way through here, so. Now it sounds fine. Yep. It is a Sunday vibe. Faux show. Well, I was gonna put an Overheim on this, but now I don't know. I think the Mellotron's probably a little bit date specific, sort of. I mean, I'm trying to think of, yeah, we got the bells there, but we're kind of thinking about, we're ebbing into the 70s. We're thinking this is recorded maybe 1968 and then maybe released some years later in 1970. So really, they wouldn't have had. Maybe a Kurzweil. Put a Kurzweil on there. They wouldn't have really had access to great synthesizers early or late 60s. I mean, they had them, but the Moog, the Mini Moog, wasn't really a thing in the late 60s. People were still using like Farfisa keyboards, and Mellotron kind of there again. I mean, I think the Mellotron's kind of pushing it a little bit, so I think maybe leave the synthesizer out. We could experiment with it, but I'm looking for a very specific dated feel to the sound of this thing, so I don't know. I'd like a Kurzweil. I would. I want the K2000. I think it is. Kurzweil K2000. That had some nice sounds on it. I wish I had that keyboard. I've never owned a Kurzweil, but I've played one, and they got some great sounds, great pianos, and the organs didn't sound too bad on those either. Okay, so I think this thing is ready. So what we got to do then is we're going to scroll over these two here. And we want to join them, so we're going to go right-click, join, create, and that should then bounce those regions to connect them with any luck, and it did, building the waveform back, and it looks pretty good. Same thing here with the Mellotron. Let's join the two. That way we're not losing anything. And just as we did with all the other stuff, let's go ahead and bounce that. So this, we got to rename this bell so we don't get it mixed up with the piano. So we're going to go bells, hell's bells. Keep crawling, keep crawling, keep crawling. Okay. And Mellotron. Okay, so bells. We're going to solo the bells. We'll listen back. Come on now. All right, so the bells are there. We got to go bounce. Project selection, and we go boom, and this is bells. You knew the game of fisticuffs, you knew the game of might. Nope, I never quantize anything. Not at all. I hate quantization. I figure if something needs to be quantized, it's a whole different genre. I use Logic Pro as a tape machine. I think of this. I really had to rethink how I use a desktop audio workstation. I don't think of it as a sequencer. I don't think of a sequence. I don't think of copy and paste and duplicate, and how many times do you want this loop to run and that sort of thing. I think of it as this is a digital tape machine, and about the only thing I'm allowing myself to do is cut the tape, like I've just done on a few of these things, and then I'm kind of then taking some tape and then taping over the tape like as you would back in the day to splice things together. And what it's doing wonders for me in regards to instrumentation, because I am sitting there going, okay, how good can we get this in a couple of takes? And then we're just going to accept it. If it sounds good enough, we're going to accept what we get. Because believe it or not, back in the day, you had to kind of be good, and you had to be really good at what you did, and you didn't have unlimited takes to do things. So that kind of added pressure with the process helps me to just go, okay, we got to make this work now. And it's saving me time too. I don't have forever to mull over a thing isn't perfectly in time, and if it comes in a little bit late. I mean, if you listen to some of the early recordings, rock recordings, there's a little bit of delay there. It's you had musicians. Sometimes they weren't all perfectly in sync, and sometimes Billy Bob came in drunk on the bass and kind of lagged about behind, but that it gave the special sauce. So we're trying to emulate that now with our workflow. Next week I'm going to be coming in with a big bottle of port, and I'm going to down that, and I'm going to see what I can take care of there. I'm going to jump on the drums and see how in time I can be on making that happen. Special sauce, Not really. As a matter of fact, the last time I drank an entire bottle of port, I wound up out in the paddock screaming my head off. I don't think I want to do that again. So Mellotron for this one. Mellotron. Okay, so we're going to bounce the Mellotron. And I think that's pretty much it for the multi-tracks for the stems. I'm very happy with my progress tonight. We have Eric here, Eric 65. Before we had some people, we had somebody with some input before. We had somebody called Pillow Pants that said, have you tried turning it on and off again? Laugh out loud. Some of these names. We had Stax, our monkey, organ grinder monkey that sells our CDs. And he goes, this producer is going to be trash. Can already tell. You can almost hear the tone of his stupid voice. So anyway, then before that we had Endo Maribel said hi, and somebody else said hi. And then we had Suik Papa J said saxophone. And I said, no saxophone. So yeah. Alright. And that was about it, really. Stax was my favorite too. He added a lot of color to this live stream. He's actually very helpful in bringing out the asshole in me, and it's a rare thing. But whenever it happens, just gotta get in there and take care of the trolls. Fight two demons. So yeah, that's what it is. Anyhow, I'm going to quickly. We're just going to play this track back. And that'll be kind of the end of the stream tonight. I'm kind of tired. So we'll do that, and we'll go to Taco Bell. I'm a man. No, I'm a man. I'm a man. No, stop fucking with me. Oh, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Now, I'll say this. These live streams are sometimes chaotic. Sometimes it's me coming on here, not doing anything in the studio, and I'm just bitching. So, kind of one of those things you kind of have to pick and choose when I'm in the studio. Because when I'm in the studio, things are actually good. When I'm not, I'm kind of just complaining about life. So, but thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Shit, though. that, my friends, I'm going to get some sleep, get some shut-eye. I hope you've all enjoyed the music. Eric, thank you so much for subscribing. And we will be back again next year. No, we're not going to wait that long. We'll probably be back tomorrow. And maybe we can put some guitar on this thing. Just a light sprinkling of guitar. Okay. Signing out for now. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.